Sha'Carri will not go to the Olympics at all. And I know you feel a certain way about it.
Mm-hmm.
What everybody's continuing to say, and as I mentioned yesterday, I thought she handled it perfectly.
Agreed.
By showing the contrition that you would expect you'd want to show, no excuses, no nothing, did explain what she went through, again, the emotions of learning that her biological mother had passed. She learned it from a reporter who was setting up to interview her, which caught her off guard, and then dealt with it in a way that she realized was not the right way to deal with it, but it cost her now a spot at the Olympics. She vows to be back at the Worlds and then once again at the next Olympics, but she will not be in Tokyo for the U.S. Your thoughts?
So yesterday, as we talked about this, you remember what you said when I was like, well, she's the fastest. It's a no-brainer, right? Like, to be on the Olympic team, right? I was not as confident, and here we are. Let me say this. She handled the response to the initial test perfectly. Incredibly graceful, accountability. She said that she was hopeful that if she had this opportunity, she would be given an opportunity, she would be able to take advantage of it. We now know that she will not. Yes, rules are rules. I appreciate the fact that the committee acknowledges that the IOC standards when it comes to marijuana need to be reviewed. I cannot help but wonder if this plays out differently if she's different. And I know I'm going to be accused of race baiting and the whole bit, but I just cannot help but wonder. And I do also understand the rules. Now, I've talked with folks in my circle last night preparing for the show. There's the argument that, well, she blew it, and can you trust her not to blow it again between now and then in the relay, right? And that's part of this conversation, too. But to me, if you believe that this incident was isolated because of the response to very unfortunate circumstances, then she's the fastest out there. Now, I'd have to call up my track friends and say, her availability to practice and the handoff, because we've seen the women's 4x1 relay team have some issues. I just wanted this to be the opportunity for her to be given some grace, and that was not the case.
Yeah, I mean, there is that part of me that, again, I always look at it from the business perspective, right? So the business perspective is you're going to have your reasoning, and a lot of the times you can't make your true reason public.
Right.
So you have to come up with, a statement, as we always tend to do, and we just try to keep it as simple and clean as possible so no one's upset and we don't say anything that might offend somebody. But I think the reality is what you said. The reality probably is, even like she was suspended, she would come off the suspension. Oh, yeah, we'd love to have her on the 4x. We'd love to have her. But we can't guarantee that her system will be clear. What if she tests positive again?
Yeah.
And now we're down a runner. We can't take that risk. We can't do that to the rest of the team. So it's easier for us, may not be the right thing, but easier for us to say we can't guarantee she'll be available. So let's do this. But I will also say, on another side of things, in professional sports, a lot of times a superstar, the team will go to bat for them. A lot of times a team will say, this isn't right. We know her. We've known her for years. This is not who she is, and we are going to defend her. We're gonna make a case for it. We're going to appeal this, whatever it is, because she should be there with us in Tokyo. That's how important she is to us. They did not do that.
That part, Hahn. And so to me, that's the grace of this conversation.
They will never tell us why.
We will never know why. I'm only left to deduce why as I look at some of the other stories surrounding the Olympics, particularly involving black women. When you look at the runners out of Africa who were deemed to have too much testosterone or in their system and ineligible to run. When you look at the issue with the swim caps that are designed for women with natural hair, black natural hair, being ruled out. This is a culmination of events that feel, to me personally, as a black woman, as an attack on our womanhood. Now, granted, Sha'Carri broke the rule. That does not change. But when it comes to, as you said, going to bat or finding an abundance of grace, that is not given in this situation. And that just makes me a little bit sad. Now, Gabby Thomas, a terrific sprinter, pointed out on Twitter last night that she's, it bothers her to see this idea, particularly on Twitter, that black folks are not going to support the Olympics. I had some friends joking, what country am I going to root for? Because I'm not rooting for the U.S. because Sha'Carri won't be there. Gabby Thomas and the rest of the runners and athletes that are going to be competing have worked very hard to get to this moment. I'm going to tune in. But when I reflect on the things leading up to Tokyo, this unfortunately will be a part of the narrative. And to me, some of the decisions and the rules, it has to do with what is unknown as opposed to getting educated.
Let me ask you this, Monica. Then what would you have done if you were in charge? How would you have handled this? What would you have liked to have seen when, let's say, you were in charge of the team?
Correct.
And it came onto your desk, she tested positive for what is in the IOC. Now, this is the Olympics. This is international.
Yep.
This is a banned substance. This is not a U.S. decision. This is a international. You agree to play by the rules of the International Olympic Committee, and this is the rule. This should not be in your system. It's in her system. How would you handle it?
Where else can I get her in? Because she represents
right. Well,
the
that's
U.S.
the part. The suspension would have been
talented,
up.
right?
And she would have been able to race in the 4x. Would you would have a race, and you would tell the rest of the team, we side with her, we trust her.
I would put her on my 4x team, and I would live with the consequences. I do not buy that she's going to have this issue again. Personally, I just don't see it. I would put her on the 4x team, and the answer to me would be, look at these times, look at these scores. We want to put ourselves in the best position to win. Now, if she has a history of fumbling handoffs or something, I don't know that. Assuming that she is capable to run the 4x and is well skilled in this event as well, I'm putting her on my team, Hahn. I'm sorry.
I mean, the fastest should be in the anchor, right? Shouldn't the fastest be the anchor?
Sports, can't debate that. Like, I'm putting her on my 4x team.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.